Hey everybody, Sean Keating here. I want to welcome you to the Dental Up podcast show by Keating Dental Arts, where anything goes and nothing stays. Get the latest clinical focuses in dental and thought-provoking spins on the most viral topics out there. Join us every week for the most mind-enhancing ways to grow your practice, mixed with lifestyle, sports, news, and topics that don't suck. Hey everybody, Sean Keating here. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of the Dental Up podcast here at Keating Dental Arts in beautiful Irvine, California. My guest today served in the U.S. Army as a Medical Service Corps officer with the 101st Airborne Division. He was deployed on 2 separate occasions in support of both Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom before returning home and attending dental school. He earned his doctorate of dental medicine at the University of Alabama at Birmingham in 2007, currently practicing in Pinehurst, North Carolina. Please welcome Dr. James Medwick DMD. How's it going, Dr. Medwick?
It's not going bad at all. I appreciate it.
Dude, thank you so much, man. I know you're a busy doctor, man. And
I try to be.
Well, hey, I always like to start off a little bit about sports, man. And you're in that mecca of basketball. I mean, what are you? Are you a Tar Heel fan? Or are you a Blue Devil fan?
Oh God, no. I'm a Dookie all the way.
Duke, really?
Heck yeah.
Coach K.
I can't stand those Tar Heels, man. This driving me nuts.
With us, man, it's like, hey, if USC, the Trojans are doing good, we'll go for them. If the Bruins are going good, we'll do no. Yeah.
Well, actually, I grew up in Alabama, and I'm a big Alabama fan.
No.
And talk about some hatred between Auburn and Alabama.
Oh,
Those two schools absolutely cannot stand each other.
Dude, that is so cool that, they got Dr. McLaren out there in Alabama now. He used to be the head director of dental education or whatever at UCLA, but I think he's at Alabama now heading up their dental thing, and that's kind of cool. But Alabama, man, they are such a force, Saban and all that with football. But I remember even too, Auburn, they hate each other, man. And it's just between those two. And I remember back in the 70s, my dad lived out in Jacksonville, or Pensacola, Florida, actually. Pensacola on the Navy base. My mom and dad got divorced. So I'd go out, one of the boys would go each summer and go spend the summer out in Pensacola, which is freaking right on the water, dude.
It is.
I remember
beautiful.
It's so humid. It's like it'd be 80, 90 degrees out, and it would start raining all of a sudden in the perfect sun. And like, what the heck? And like 10 minutes later, it's like dried. But I remember I got an Auburn shirt because I was into football back then. I was playing football, like a little pee-wee football, and I got a number 10. I forgot who the quarterback was back, and it was like probably 74, probably before you even born. But
I can't remember that one.
But Auburn, man, and that's just right there on the edge of Florida, kind of, isn't it, out there? Or?
Oh, no. Auburn's on the Georgia border. So it's up there. Montgomery is right in the central state.
Okay.
And due east is Auburn, and Auburn's right there on the Georgia border.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess all the Florida guys just really loved Auburn or something, and so they're Auburn fans. But I remember even back then, Auburn, Alabama, man, they'd just go at it. And
it's a really big one. It's hard to explain. You definitely have to live it.
Now, is Alabama? It's always Alabama, Birmingham. I never really seen that at
2 different schools: UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham. They have the dental school and the med school and all that.
Oh, okay.
And University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa. That's where the big football team is at.
The Roll Tide. Okay, that's what I was talking about. Okay, but hey, it's all good, man. I would love to go out there. I bet they got some good Southern food, man, like some fried chicken and all that. That's
and barbecue.
Barbecue.
Fried chicken and barbecue. Chicken. Heck yeah.
Oh, dude.
No idea.
I'd be there in a heartbeat. All right, man. Well, hey, let's dental up and let's talk a little bit about Now, why did you get into dentistry, and at what point did you think I want to be a dentist?
It was in the Army. I met my future wife. We were at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, and I was a Medical Service Corps officer. Basically, I'm the type person that job entails coordinating medevac, coordinating casevac on the battlefield. So if somebody gets hurt, you call in the proper channels to make sure that they get medevac to the right hospital and receive the care they need. So I was that person on the ground. So I was getting trained to do that, but while I was there, I met a bunch of dentists, and they were just happy-go-lucky guys and enjoying life and, just They're from USC, as a matter of fact,
No
USC Dental
kidding.
School.
What a
And they were
small
just like happy-go-lucky dudes, just, enjoying it. And I was like, man, what am I doing wrong? So I started looking more into it and started finding out what all the prereqs were and how to apply and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? Maybe that's something I want to keep in the back of my mind. So I did. And I did those deployments with the 101st. And during the first deployment, I studied to take the DAT.
Okay.
And then I took the DAT and got a decent score, and I started the application process. And then in the middle of the application process, I did my second deployment, and that's when I found out I was accepted.
No kidding.
And so I got accepted. And honestly, all that being said, I didn't ever think about what being a dentist was. So I actually went into dental school blind.
Okay.
And I had no idea what the heck I was doing. My first day I was there, it was like everybody was speaking a second language.
Yeah.
And they're like, mesial this, distal that, crowns, bridges. I'm like, what in the heck are you talking about? I had no idea. So I literally had to stay my butt off, those first few days, few weeks to just catch up with everybody else. Because everybody else in my class, they're all daughters and sons of dentists of many generations, and they've been doing it for many years, working in labs or working with their parents or, they've always known they want to be a dentist. So they just knew about this stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, I fell into it for not the wrong reasons, but not necessarily the right reasons. But I'm glad I'm in it now because I found my niche. I love it. I can't imagine being anything else.
That is so cool. And it's almost better like that. We always say that in football. Like it's better when the kids don't play youth football when they get to high school. It's kind of like because you learn bad habits sometimes. They're not great technique and that. And so you're just it's an open slate where it's just there's no you can kind of be molded into a great football player or a great dentist, not having any past history in it. And it's almost better, I think, the way that worked for you maybe because it just it goes both ways. But that is really cool how you didn't really realize what it entailed, but you got into it because those guys from USC were kind of cool, laid back, and living life a little bit. So that's perfect, dude. That's a great story. Now tell me, did the Army pay for your dental school and all that? How'd that work?
Yeah, they did. I earned the Health Professional Scholarship Program, the HPSP scholarship.
Okay.
So I earned that while I was downrange in Iraq. And that's what actually got me out of Iraq because my commanding officer at the time, he was like, Jimmy, I really need you here. And unless you get that scholarship from the Army, you're not going anywhere. I was doing all this application process from Iraq. So it was a crazy nut roll, but thankfully, everything worked out. And I got the scholarship and got my releasing papers and went to dental school. So it worked out.
Kidding. Now, first of all, I want to thank you for your service for our country. That's awesome, dude. And just
it's fun. I enjoyed it.
We can't thank you. Thank you so much. And God, you went to you went to Iraq and where was the other? Afghanistan or what?
Afghanistan. That was the first one.
What was that like, dude? Kind of crazy. Were you a little scared?
I ain't gonna lie. The first time it was pretty scary because when we landed at the airfield, they're like, be ready to use your guns and, come out, blazing, blah, 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 this and that. And we're like, okay. So we're like all nervous as heck coming off the airplane, guns ready. And it was just special forces there waiting for us. We're like, dude, you're okay. Put your guns away. Go find your hooch, go get settled and blah, 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 this and that. So everything worked out really well. So yeah, it was nerve wracking at first. The United States at that point hadn't been into a war in quite a few years. And, we're newbies. We were all 22-year-olds and we had no idea what we're getting into. So.
Heck no. I mean, you just see it in movies and just see the intensity and that's just nuts, man. So good for you. Thank you so much for that. I mean, to go both those places, that's just, woo. So what about any cool stories or hurdles you had to go through while you were serving that you can remember anyhand? Like, I
wasn't doing any dentistry. That was when I was that, medical platoon leader. So I was taking care of those guys. So no, you know what? If I was seeing action, there was something definitely wrong going on. And thankfully with the unit I was with, they took care of stuff really quick. And so I only had a few guys I had to really get taken care of. Honestly, I had a pretty good experience. When I was there, it was 2002 and 2003. Okay. And things really got messy after I left. Okay. Because I remember driving the streets in my Humvee, high-fiving all the, Iraqis, and it was so pleasant. It was awesome. I had a completely different experience from what the guys, currently serving over their head, because that was before all the insurgents, before all the crazy guys got in there and started, raising a ruckus.
Yeah.
And, the Iraqi population, they're so happy to have us there. And they were just so pleasant and so happy and pleased that we were there to do what we did. And like I said, that's when the insurgents came in, and that's when, stuff hit the fan and it became what it is.
Well, you're lucky. I mean, I just hear so many horror stories, and just even in peace, kind of just being away from family, being in another country, and just the life that you have to live there, and it's just it's quite a commitment for sure. And
the separation is definitely tough. And back then, especially, we didn't have all the high end communications that we do now. And we were still doing snail mail, letters by mail.
No kidding.
And it sucked.
That's right. When I started my lab, 2002, man, and it was like it was a different world even back then to where it is now. But
heck yeah,
that's just crazy, dude. So it says something like where you got relocated to South Korea as chief of restorative dentistry. How was that experience? What was that about?
That was fun. So basically, I went. I graduated in 2007 from UAB. I went to a 2-year AGD residency through the Army at Fort North Carolina, right here.
Okay.
And after that, I got board certification. I passed the boards and all that, and I got assigned to Korea. And when I got there, basically the way they train you as a 2-year resident is you are a jack of all trades.
Okay.
And they put you in locations where if they don't have an endodontist, you are the endodontist. If they don't have a surgeon, you are the surgeon. So I got put down in Camp Humphreys, Korea, where they didn't really have a specialist on board because everybody was up in Seoul, Korea.
Okay.
So I was there to be the person to do all the surgeries and do all the root canals and all that stuff. So I was down there, and that's all my day was shucking teeth and root canals. And while I was doing that, I was in charge of all these dentists who were all newbies straight out of dental school. And I was in charge of the restorative dentistry. So I'd have to come by and do the checks and all that kind of stuff. Wow. So I basically served almost like as a residency director in some respects.
You got to be pretty sharp, dude, to be in charge of that. And that's why I can see why you're just so, I mean, you're one of our biggest accounts. I mean, it's kind of a trip that such a young guy, I mean, 2007, that's 10 years ago, basically. But the training you got in those trenches, dude, are so good. It usually takes quite a bit and some different practices getting out of dental school to, sharpen your chops. But, dude, to be the MacGyver of, okay, we need root canal, we need to shuck this nasty looking abscess tooth, we need to do this and that. I mean, that's awesome, man. So you really did get some great experience there. How was the lifestyle there in South Korea? We have a lot of South Koreans here at work with me. They're some of the best ceramists in the world. I mean, these guys are just such nice people, and we love them. And a lot of my guys have been with me like 30 years, but that worked with me before, too. But tell me a little bit about that South Korea. Did any memories come back when the Olympics were here recently and stuff like that? Did you think
it was actually really cool. Some of the things that they showed on TV, it brought back a lot of memories being there. Actually, I skied on those slopes when I was there, and it was none of that stuff was there. So it was really cool to see it all built up and ready for the Olympics. So that was neat. But Korea, we were there for 4 years, and that was probably 4 of the best years of my life. I mean, we had so much fun being there. I'm half Korean, so I was right at home. I brought my mother over there, and it was great. Absolutely great.
How neat is that? What about, do you like to eat kimchi?
I love kimchi.
Yeah. That stuff is, that's like the number, it's like steak to us, It's like, we just, that's awesome, dude. So what about, you think you're going to go back and visit again, or?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm sending my mom there. She's going actually during Thanksgiving this year, so we'll send her there for a couple of weeks. She'll hang out with all her friends, but we're going to probably go back. If not this year, maybe next year.
No kidding. So was it hard to adapt to that new culture, or did you learn anything from the experience? I mean, it was 4 years. That's quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up Korean, so it wasn't too big of a culture shock for me by any means. And my wife, she loves Asian culture in general, so she fell in love with it, immediately. And that was her second time over there, actually. She was there as a pilot when she was there from 2002 to 2003. She was there for a year because she's in the military as well. And then that was her second time going over when we went after my residency.
And she's a pilot? She can fly a darn plane?
Yeah, no, she flies helicopters. But she sure is.
I want to get a helicopter. Maybe we can hire her out here. Be my Is she good?
Oh, there you go. She's pretty awesome. Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
That's so nuts, dude. I swear to God, I have so many helicopters through the years. I buy those remote control things, and man, I must be dyslexic or something. I just going left, going right, up, down. It's kind of like with my drumming. I still don't get it after years. Like you got 4 limbs and you got to do different things at the same time. My brain just doesn't work. It's scary. It's just it's a trip though, man. We do helicopters a lot. We go over to this little island, Catalina, that's by us, and so it'll take you an hour or two in a boat to cruise on over, or depending how fast you go, or it'll take 10 minutes in a helicopter. And I'm like, bring the boat on over. I'll get on the helicopter. But we do this, and these guys are all ex-Vietnam, pilots and ex-service, helicopter guys, and they're a different bunch, man. But they really got that stuff down and doing all the little controls, and that's crazy. It's just it's a neat thing. That wife's kick butt, man. That's awesome. Tries a helicopter.
Yeah, she's a keeper. She's a keeper by all means.
Oh, that's so cool, dude. So tell me, how did you get involved in as the program director for the American Red Cross Dental Assisting Program? Tell me about that.
So basically, I fell into that one. There was a dentist that was there who was managing that program, and basically, it's something that we do. The way it works is basically we manage the program, and we get girls or guys that go through the program, and then we have about 4 months because they had to do a lot of volunteer hours. So quite honestly, it's almost like free labor in so many words, So while they're doing their volunteer hours, they work with us, and we use them chairside to assist. And then after that, at the end of the 6 months, by the time it's all said and done, they graduate with their certificate, their radiology, and they're all good to go to start application process to work any job that they seek. No. So it's a really cool program. But yeah, I inherited it. So basically, I was teaching classes, the didactics. We do 2 weeks of didactics, testing them and stuff like that. And assuming that they got through the didactics, then we would put them in the clinics to do the volunteer hours. So it's cool.
For some of us dumb dental technicians, tell me what a didactic is again, real quick.
Oh,
David,
basically,
you know
it's when you do all the classwork.
Okay.
You do your classwork and you learn how to you do all the tests.
I never learned that.
Yep. Well, there you go. I taught you something.
That's so man. That kind of tells you a little bit about me now. So tell me, how did you earn your fellowship from the Academy of General Dentistry? How does that work?
Well, yeah. So basically, you have to put in a certain amount of hours as far as CE and all that kind of stuff. And going through the residency program in the Army, that sufficed quite a bit of the hours.
Okay.
And then, just did my own, CEs here and there, and did a bunch of CE programs across the nation. And, finally, you meet your number, and then you got to take a test, the fellowship exam.
Okay.
And then you got to pass that one. And then once you pass that, you get to be put into the fellowship. So it's cool.
Now, is that, do you have to get credits yearly now to keep it up to date, or how's that work?
You do. You have to maintain a certain number of hours. And then also with the fellowship, I'm more proud of my board certification, the American Board of General Dentistry.
Okay.
Because that was something that we actually had to do, oral tests and also written tests and all kinds of stuff. And that was
tougher.
Crazy. Huh? It was a lot tougher.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you get the board of certification for the American Board of General Dentistry? So that's quite.
There you go.
That's quite the accomplishments, and it's got to be tough. We have a national board of certification for our certified dental technology, and it was a hell of a thing to pass that thing for me. I had to do it like 3 times, and way back in the 90s or whatever. It was like 1990 when I took it actually, but
that's cool.
It took me 3 times, and I finally got it. But then now we got like 20 plus credits a year, so we always have to be in continuing education, and we just do different programs. And I'm never gonna miss that, because if I go back and try to do it again, the practical, it ain't gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen. Yeah, that practical was horrendous.
Oh, it was so tough.
Boards they drilled you.
Man. I did mine in Crown and Bridge too. You can do it in ceramics, removable, Crown and Bridge, and I was going to do it in ceramics. I'm like, nah, I better do the Crown and Bridge. The Crown and Bridge was actually tougher, I think, but because you had to do a little bit of wax and a little bit of metal work, and just it was good, but it was very challenging for me. That's got to be tough.
Yeah.
So
no, I know about those days. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about when you got out of your residency and stuff like that, did you go when you went? Did you go to Pinehurst, North Carolina, and associate for someone, or did you open up your practice there? Tell me a little bit about your journey as you started working with the public.
So coming out of Korea, I came back to Fort Bragg, and I was with Special Forces and everything. So I managed my own schedule because I was basically the unit dentist.
Oh, okay.
So I could kind of, I had a little bit more free time and flexibility to kind of do what I needed to do. And so I started venturing and questioning myself, like, hey, if I decided to get out, could I make it? Mm-hmm. And, so I was like, hey, let me try this moonlighting thing. And there's some dentists that are, seeking associates, well, not associates, but part-time dentists to do Fridays and Saturdays here or there. Okay. So I'd kind of fill in, and I did those, and I was like, you know what? This ain't that bad, And I guess I'm more social than I thought I was. I can get along with patients. I can do this pretty well. And so I was like, you know what? I was talking to my wife. I was like, Michelle, what do you think about me getting out? And she slapped me. She's like, no, you can't get out. You got a steady gig right here in the Army. We're all set up to be generals and all this kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, but I can stabilize the family and I can hang out here and be a dad. Cause that was the biggest reason I came in dental, was to be a family guy. Yeah. And to take, be there for the kids and take them to their sporting events and all that kind of stuff. And so we thought about and prayed about, and we're like, let's try it and see what happens. So I started, checking it out and started filing my paperwork to get out of the Army. And I fell into Lane & Associates. It's a big, I guess a corporate dental type entity out here in North Carolina. And I was an associate with them for a little while in my transition before I bought this practice. And I enjoyed it. It was fun. I had a great experience with them. And I was like, I can really, really do this. And then, lo and behold, my CPA, that he was our mutual friend between the person I bought this from and me. Okay. And he introduced us, and we got along really well. And she was ready to sell, and I was like, okay, let's make it happen. And we did.
Tell me back with that Special Forces thing. So were you in the Special Forces? You were the dentist for the Special Forces, or how'd that work?
Yeah, I was I don't want to make sure that everybody understands that I was not a Special Forces guy. I was just a dentist that took care of the Special Forces.
No, that's
so I wasn't all that gung ho by any means, but no, it was still cool. I got to hang out with all the cool guys and hang out with the cool guns, and
that's what I'm saying. Tell me about these sports. So. These guys are freaking like demigods,
they're monsters,
aren't they?
Yeah, they're monsters.
That's so crazy. And the Special Forces, that's kind of like an Army, kind of like Green Berets, or no, or is it different?
Yeah, Green Berets. Yeah, Special Forces, and I was actually the Delta Force dentist, so I was actually with Delta Force. So it was really cool. Basically, it's by interview. They interview you, and basically, based off the interview, if they like you and you do well at the interviews, they bring you in. You're their dentist. So it was fun. It was really cool.
What about? Do you ever keep in touch with any of those guys at all, or do you ever?
Yeah, a lot of the guys still live here around Pinehurst, and a lot of them are getting retired, and they're all seeking me out. So it's really cool.
What about on your rank, and how does that? What kind of rank were you? And
I made the rank of major when I got out of the Army.
I had this old football coach, man, this Samoan dude. He was a sergeant major, and I guess that's as high as you can get without college or something, or I'm not sure about that. But Tuia Sayanoa, man, that dude was a monster. But the back of his neck looked like a 6-pack of hot dogs. It's so big. But he was a sergeant major, man. He ran my defensive line, and that dude was a stud at the El Toro Marine Base. Oh, but that's different. So Marines are sergeant majors. You don't have that sergeant majors in the Army, or no?
Yeah, we do have sergeant majors in the Army. We sure do. Oh, okay. Yeah, but those guys, they're top notch. They are the backbone of the Army. That's for sure. The NCOs, the non-commissioned officers. That's who you're making reference to.
That was my dad too. He started off as like we called a Mustang, I guess, or not Buck Private, but it was a Mustang because he went in without any college, and he was in the Navy 31 years, and he got to commander. He was commander of on the USS America.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and so my brother Kevin got in the Navy also, and then they gave him the dental. But shit, my brother was like a captain already or something, or he got it real quick because when you go to college, I mean, I guess you move up the ranks. So he was it was tough for my dad, but he really had to put in the extra effort because he did.
Yeah, he went the long way around, but it was well worth it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it put. He said, "You'll never have a house on the hill, but we'll always have food on the table, and we'll have clothes on our back." And I'm like,
"Oh, there you go."
All right, Dad. Tell me a little bit about your CE journey. Like, what do you like with CE, and what do you recommend to some of our newer, younger guys? Like, you're pretty young, but what do you do, or what do you like? Any certain CE out there, and have you done any like practice management for your staff or anything there at all?
Well, yeah, practice management, I'd say, is something that's is a must have. It really is. They didn't really teach us anything like that, going to dental school when I went through.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest learning curve, is trying to figure out how to manage personnel. Thankfully, with the military, you got a sense of that. So it wasn't that big a deal by the time I came in.
Yeah.
It's just different atmosphere, different folks, but, quite honestly, same management principle. So it worked out really well. But yeah, for all the newbies out there, definitely that's a must. You have to understand personalities, you have to understand jobs, performances, how to, rate their performance so you can keep them motivated.
Yep.
And that's just things that they just don't teach in dental school, at least where I was at back then.
They don't really teach a lot about lab work and that. I mean, they give you a lot of theory and stuff like that, but even hand skills,
I've noticed that, quite honestly, with the new graduates, they don't know much about lab work. They really don't. Yeah. And that's something that they stress to us. Like, we had to do all our own lab work. The fact that they don't have to do any of it. Yeah. They ship it all out. Yeah. You don't really know what to look for as far as what's good and bad lab work if you don't do it. So
I know, it's crazy. We work with Loma Linda University up the street from us. It's Veterans Administration. We do all the VA work there, and they really work with their dentists on trying to get into the lab work. And really, it's a very well-rounded dental program, and really top notch. But I think 2 weeks ain't enough, man. I mean, in your 4 years or whatever, you need a lot more 2 weeks, because it just, especially the digital age it's turning to and stuff like that. I mean, you need to work on some different things when it comes to the lab if you're going to be doing it in-house, or especially if you're not going to be doing it in-house. It's kind of an important thing, and I think it just helps a doctor so much with their sanity and being able to sleep at night when they got a little bit of an idea. And, well, if I'm going to be in fixed prosthodontics or even removable prosthodontics, I need to learn a little bit about what my lab's going to be doing for me, and they can make or break a practice, that's for sure. But
no, I agree with that one.
That's awesome. Well, man, you got a pretty, even working with your staff, I mean, it's very structured, and everyone's got, their duties, and it's just a very well-run practice. Tell me a little bit about your practice and staff, and, how big of a practice you got. Do you got 1 op, 2 ops? How many ops? Tell me a little bit about your setup, where your practice is.
So I got 4 ops. I got 2 hygiene, 2 doctor right now. And actually we're in the middle of, opening up a new practice. We're going to build a bigger building.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yeah. I got 2 front desk, 2 assistants, and 2 hygiene. So I got 2 of each. And it's a steady run practice. It's run really well, and I'm enjoying it. It's just a lot of fun. But yeah, the hygienists, they're full-time. Okay. Well, full-time 4 days a week. And I got basically, you could say one of my assistants, she's like a half assistant, because she's a half front desk and a half whenever I need her back in the back to do all the Zoom whitening and just crown deliveries and follow-ups and stuff like that. No. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So tell me a little bit, do you use any social media to drive business to your practice? Tell me a little bit about your marketing efforts.
Yeah, we use Facebook and we use Instagram, those 2. Okay. And my wife, she manages it. She's actually really good about doing that. So those are 2 social platforms that we do use. This area is a really big retirement community. Okay. And print media is still big. So we have a lot of local magazines that, we have a presence in as well. And what else? And then we just have the local newspaper. I mean, newspaper and telephone book is big out here for whatever reason.
Hey, certain
people still look up the telephone book. Yeah. They do.
They're not all into this new stuff, and still old school. I'm still a newspaper guy. I still like to read my newspapers in my hand, and I'm kind of an old school guy too. But we're kind of going back to the direct mail a little bit. You'll probably, a lot of you guys listening out there, you probably see our letters. Don't throw them away. Open them up. And look at that special. We'll send out 20,000 a month, and 19,990 could probably get thrown away. But then I might get 5 or 10 that just say, I'll give this lab a try. And it's so hard. But, just marketing. I mean, if you knew the magic, it's so tough for anything. I mean, the movie industry, the food industry. I mean, what's going to make a person use your product? I mean, it's got to have value. It's got to have something more than just, price and this and that. And it's so tough, the whole thing of, getting business for your widget, whatever you do in life. I mean, it's just sales and marketing, man. It's the thing. I mean, you could be the best dentist out there in Pinehurst, but if no one knows about you or hears about you, they're not gonna, so a lot of it goes back to referrals of existing patients. Like, oh yeah, we love Dr. Medwick and his staff. And so you do a lot of, you have a referral program. You kind of work with your, existing patients, or do you have them help you at all? Or
you know what, that's probably the biggest reason that we're getting new patients is because just internal referrals. Well, I'll say, hey, Miss Smith, what brought you in? Well, I know Mr. Cassidy, and he knows you and he loves you, so I'm here. So that's probably been the biggest source, quite honestly. I like to have a presence, like I said, with social media and printed media, but that's our biggest draw is just internal referrals. And I can't say enough about my patients. They are amazing people. And it's a great community. I cannot say enough about Pinehurst in general. This place is awesome.
That's so awesome. And Fort Bragg, how far is Fort Bragg from Pinehurst?
Fort Bragg is about 20 miles to the main garrison area or the main city part. And then it takes about another 15, 20 minutes to get to where you want to go, because that's a huge base.
Yeah, it's kind of like Camp Pendleton out here. It's just huge. It goes on and on forever. But yeah, we had quite a few doctors in the past, even from Fort Bragg, sending us work. And I had this one colonel, I forgot his last, Shannon something. God, I can't remember anything.
Shannon McGee.
Yeah, do you know Dr. Shannon McGee?
Yeah, I do. He's here in town. He sure is.
I used to do all his work forever, man. And isn't he like a colonel or something? Or vice
he retired as a colonel. Yeah, he sure did. And then Stacy Larson is who took over after him. And then I took over after her. So we're all in the same unit.
Oh, you're kidding.
And that's how I found out about you guys.
Oh, Shannon McGee.
That's exactly how I found out about you guys.
Oh, dude, that is such a small world, man. And that dude was so cool. He was a big guy, too. And I remember whatever show we'd be in the ADA in San Francisco or the Hinman, and he would fly into different dental conventions, and he'd always look us up. And me and my managers would take him to like lunch or a dinner. And I just remember to this day, he's the only dentist out of all the dudes I have wined and dined through the years in dentistry. And I'm a big eater and I like to drink beer and whatever else. But I just remember him every time. I go, Dr. McGee, let me get your food and let me pay for this. And he would never let me. It's about as honest as you can get. It's like a good police officer that you get vetted and you find someone that's really, that dude, I swear to God, I couldn't. And it was just weird. I go, what do you mean I can't buy? He goes, no, Sean, it just, I'm kind of on, he was still in the service and all this. And he's a freaking colonel, and he's like, no, I'll just pay for it. It's okay. I go, let me buy you this steak and lobster. Let me get you your drinks. And no, but you can't teach that. I mean, that dude he was right. Just freaking by the book. And he was a great dentist too. And many years. And I remember when he was retiring, I'm like, dude, man, hopefully whoever you're selling to will send us work. But through the transition of it all, we got Dr. Medwick. Nah, that's so cool, dude. What about with so are you still in the service, or your wife still in the service, or no?
She's still in the service. I am not. Yeah, I got out. I separated.
Yeah, my brother did it too. I think after 10 years, he went like the 11th year, and so he qualified for a certain amount of retirement. But he thought it would be better for the private practice for him, and especially after they just paid for everything and all that. These poor other dental students, they got 10 years of debt, $400 or $500 or whatever. It's ridiculous. So, dude, what about your wife? Your wife's going to end up probably being a colonel. She's going to be bossing your ass around the house. No.
Oh, dude, she's already a colonel.
She really? Is your wife a colonel, really?
Yeah, she is. No joke.
Right on. She's my hero.
She's been bossing around for quite a while, so it's okay. I'm used to it.
She probably kick your ass too, huh?
Yeah. She's pretty good at that as well.
Oh, I bet she's tough as nails, dude. Freaking riding a helicopter. She could probably ride one of those Hueys, man. Those
she's good.
I'm sure she could, dude. That's so cool. That's
She's pretty
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Mhm.
What's the highest rank you can get? Is colonel pretty much highest, or no, admiral? And
Oh,
admiral's a different
there's lieutenant colonel, and then general.
general.
So she's right there. Yeah.
Think she'll ever be a general or no?
Yeah, she probably would be if she wanted it. She's a family girl too. She's all about just maybe doing her time and getting out.
Yeah.
I think she could probably put her 20 years in and probably just go ahead and call it a retirement.
No
I can't
kidding.
really see her at this point going any longer because our
Yeah.
kids are, we got a newborn. She's 4 months old now,
Oh,
and she
congratulations.
wants to spend time with. Thank you, but she wants to spend time with her.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think there's anything the Army can do about enticing her at this point.
Yeah, when it comes to kids, with us, I mean, it was tough, when starting off, and and I got my CFO here. She's leaving me after 15 years. She started with me here, and
Oh,
she has a child that is 6 years old, and it's like she's been working a little bit from home last few years, and it's just so hard, and it's the only child,
yeah.
and you want to be part of that, and they probably got so much damn money they don't need to. Her husband's a lawyer and stuff, so it's like I got a new CFO here, and it's just it's kind of tough. But I understand it when it comes to kids. Kids are first and foremost, and that's the way we are here, even with our company and employees. Like family's
I
first,
agree.
and that's all. At the end of the day, all it really matters is your faith and your family, and you just got to remember that. And it's just
Yeah.
good things happen, and just take care of your kids. But that's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Kicking butt, wife of yours, man, the colonel.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. So
Mhm.
tell me, have you been able to adapt with the technological advancements in the field? Like, have you looked into any of the digital scanning on impressions or anything? You got yourself a little laser or anything? Tell me a little bit about any of the technological, advancements that are out there. Are you implementing anything yet, or kind of just looking at things?
Well, I'm definitely keeping things, in perspective. I want to definitely upgrade to the digital scanners. I haven't quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lunch and learn with them, and they've come a long way
Yeah.
from when I remember being introduced to them back 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
I did not like the idea of having to coat them in that little powder and
Yep.
fight the tongue and fight the saliva and all this. That was such a headache.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, now they're with the new cameras that they have, the digital cameras and the scanning capabilities, those things are amazing. So definitely that'd be probably the next thing I want to do to upgrade. Lasers, I have a BioLase.
Oh,
I
you
use that for
kidding?
soft tissue. That's a lot of
Damn,
fun.
you paid a lot for that one. They're right around the corner from my house here, BioLase.
Yeah, they are expensive. I ain't gonna lie about that one, but they're well worth it. They do a lot of good stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's neat.
You're getting
But
those.
yeah, those two things. Yeah, I like those two technologies.
Yeah, there's definitely just a buzz about the the impression taken, and it's really come far. And I think even in the next 2 years, we're going to see more advancements. So if it's not critical for you, I mean, to hold off a little bit. I think pricing will even. I mean, heck, they got Itero. They dropped that in half the price right now, and they're in a little war
Heck
with
yeah.
kind of 3Shape and the Trios, which is kind of like the holy grail of scanners. I think it's just really, really awesome, and they've been my
it
number one
is.
scanner in the lab for many years, and I just love it. And I love that the head guy comes to my lab and works with us, so I
Oh,
kind of
there you
love
go.
it. But I like 3M, I like Itera, I like them all. It's kind of like cars. You got your Maseratis, your Ferraris, and your Mercedes, and your different, exotics, and they're all
Yeah.
neat. And it's just a matter of opinion, of what you like more and what does a little bit different than the other. But it's not going away. And I just think, just with the whole mail thing, of just getting things, if you can scan it, send it over that interweb to me, boom, and I get it, and I'm
Yeah.
basically lock and loaded and just ready to work on it. And it's just
Yep.
the accuracy. It's just we do a lot of different work, and we do PFMs, we do monolithics with you, we do everything across the board, and it's just something. Impression material, I mean, it works. It's great, but yet there is variables, and
Yeah, it
it's
is.
just that the scanning and the computers and the variables are dropped by 99%. It's just the fit and the
Yeah.
function and everything. It's just pretty neat. And then it's just, it's really been a godsend for us for sure that the accuracy and, just the remake value alone. I got some guys that, push the limits a little bit and doing quite a few teeth a month and probably not taking as much time as they should on certain impressions. And I tell you, man, just with scanning the mouth, if and there's a learning curve for that. Be it, once you get that down, it might take a month, 2 months, some guys a little bit longer to get it to really rock and roll for you. But once you get that, it's just, man, they are just slam dunk, unbelievable. Then we still have the ceramists and the technicians working on all the teeth. They're all certified dental techs or master dental techs, and they're still working on this stuff. But it's just the fit, and it's so accurate and so on the money, and especially when you get all your parameters dialed in, and it's just it's a neat thing. So we'll definitely let you know as things come more affordable and even more predictable. But
oh, yeah, please do. Actually, that's the one thing I was going to talk to you guys about later on. I was going to pick your brain about which scanners are the best ones and all that, and which would be most convenient for you guys to work with. So, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Give us a call back, or we can have Bob or Steve or one of our managers talk to you about it, or feel free to call me. And, we got some connections, too, with different, vendors on, maybe we can get some, trial period in your place. We're trying to work a program out right now, but it's so hard to say, like, even the trios, and it's just, there's so many people that want it, and they just like, Sean, okay, I know you're a dental lab, and I know you have a lot of doctors, this and that, but, we don't have any problem selling these things, and and I kind of want a break for my guys, this and that, and do me something like, the whole thing. I think what I'll probably end up doing is a lot of these little places, they got their service fee, for the year, like your warranty type thing, and it's like $2,500. And a lot of doctors, dentists are pretty frugal guys, and that might be a deal killer for some guys. Like, I'm not going to pay $2-3 grand a year for this, assurance, program or whatever. And well, maybe I could pay for that and take care of that or something, if that helps you a little bit. But it's important to me because it just makes because we don't charge in remakes here, and we don't have a lot of remakes, but the little ones we do, it just straight off our margin, and it's just something of, if I have 60 grand in remakes a month, if I could drop that down to 30, that's 30 going to my bottom line. And whenever I get guys that go from, analog impressions to digital, it's just a lot of the little ifs and whats on certain impressions are gone now, because when you're scanning it, it's not letting you go to the next level unless it's clear and it shows it and it says, okay, we're clear, click into the next level. And it's kind of a neat thing. It just makes you kind of practice a little bit smarter and just more closely watching what you got, because a lot of times guys will snap an impression, will look at it kind of about a foot away from their eyes, say, yeah, it looks pretty good, but they don't see that fold on the mesolingual area there that, hey, man, we got a reverse negative here with this. And sometimes we can play with that with stone and bring it around and kind of idealize it. But at the end of the day, man, we want this stuff fitting within microns, 40, 50 microns of fit. And,
I agree.
Just, and we can just allow for that exact amount of cement. It's a neat thing. So, well, tell me, what's like one of the most rewarding experiences in your professional life?
I do a lot of pro bono work, so again, through internal referrals, we'll hear about patients or people that need care in general, and we'll bring them in, do an exam, and find out what they need to do, and I'll go ahead and take care of it. And that's probably the most rewarding thing I enjoy doing, because there's a lot of people that in need, and they can't afford dentistry. It's expensive, Oh, yeah. And so I've taken care of quite a few people around the neighborhood as far as stuff that they need to get done.
I love that.
So that's been the part that I've loved the most. Being able to do that, being able to take care of these people that need it, especially these people, they're very proud people. They don't want to ask for anything.
Yeah.
But, I bring them in here and I'll talk to them about what's going on and stuff like that. And I'll get them fixed up. So that's been the part I've loved the most.
I think that's one of my things I love, and I've talked about it on many of the podcasts. I just love helping the people that are kind of down and out. And like some of our doctors will do like one a year or something. And like with you, Dr. Medwick, when you have a bigger case or something that someone's really down their luck, let me know and we'll donate our services too, dude.
No, I appreciate
that. It's so good to give, and you get so much more back by giving. It's just unbelievable. But those are the people that really want it. They can't afford it, and it just changes their life. Especially, I mean, I get a little excited when I do a posterior quad here, quad there, but and they can. Oh, I've been eating on my right side for 3 years, and I haven't been able to eat, so I'm eating on my left side. But then I blew up my left side, so I got to fix my right side. But it's like, dude, I like it when I'm going across the horn like 4 to 13 or 6 through 11s. If they got 4 and 5 and 12, 13, so, but that just changed it because then they're just pulling that lip back and smiling, and it just really it's a neat thing. Even if they got a underbite and everything else, just stay open in a freeway space when you smile, and you're gonna look like $1 million. But,
there you go.
But no, I love doing that. I'm actually doing my Crown and Bridge managers. Her poor teeth have been, just on the downcline lately, and we're sending over to the local dentist here, and we're gonna do her up, and she's just so excited, and it's so awesome, dude.
That is awesome.
So tell me a little bit about what do you do when you're not working? What kind of hobbies you got rolling with that Colonel wife of yours and those kids?
I am just a professional dad, taking my kids to all their freaking sporting events. That's what I do on my off time. Like every single weekend is occupied with lacrosse or taekwondo or band camps or this and that. It's just it's like nonstop.
And it's gonna.
So I have no time.
That's so cool. How old are the kids now? Tell me about your kids a little bit.
I got a 12-year-old, a 6-year-old, and the newborn.
You're kidding. Boys, girls, or?
Yeah, 2 boys and the baby girl.
Oh, that little girl's going to get everything. And
she sure is.
Those hellion boys. What about the oldest boy? He's going to, what do you think him? Going to get into dentistry or no? You have him go somewhere else, or what do you think?
He's so easygoing. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I left it open to him. I'm not by any means pushing him to do anything. I just said, whatever you do, he's got to be a professional, whatever it is. So he's still wide open. He loves hanging out with me and seeing what I do. But if he'll go that route, I don't know. We'll see.
No kidding. Yeah, it's such a trip. I mean, heck, I remember when their kids were 12. It goes so fast, Dr. Medwick. Like an eye blink, they're going to be 24 or whatever, and just it's just enjoy it and just cherish it now, because before you know it, it's an eye blink away, and they're taller than you, and they're helping you, and before you know it, they'll be wiping our bums, taking care of us.
Yeah.
Tell me, let's wrap this up. Tell me, what are some of the do's and don'ts in your profession that you'd like to share with up and coming practitioners? What are some of the things you think could help out some of the guys starting? Do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. Let me think. So do's, definitely do whatever comes in your door. Don't be, you have to know your limits, first of all. If you know your limits, like I said, I was trained really well. So I was able to take care of all the patients that came in my door. And if you can do that, and be yourself and be truthful, that's the biggest thing about, dentistry nowadays. There's a lot of people that are going down the wrong path as far as trying to sell dentistry versus just being a good person. And I hate to say that about the profession, but it's getting to that point sometimes.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts. Because it's all about ROI. I'm like, there's a person behind that, and you got to take care of that person. So be a good person to your patients, and that opens up all kinds of doors. And I can't say that enough. If you be a good person, listen to them, listen to their concerns, and then address them and just be a good person, you'll be fine. You will be, don't be that person that's after the bottom line. Exactly. I know it's hard to tell that to these guys that are graduating with $400,000 or $500,000 in debt, but it's just, it's baby steps. If you take care of your patients, they'll take care of you.
Absolutely. Those are words of wisdom right there, baby. That is so true, man. And just treat people how you want to be treated, and and with the experience that you got in the trenches, that's why you're just crushing it so much 10 years out, and it's a great thing. So I mean, continue. You always got to push yourself too, in life. You can't sit there like if you're a dentist or anything. You got to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and push yourself. So it's just not you get into the comfort zone. You really can't in anything. I think when you're starting your career, especially, you got to really push it those first 20 years. Do everything you can, learn everything you can.
Yep.
Take care of people like they're your family and your staff too. Any great company, I don't care if you're a plumber, a painter, a lawyer, a contractor, you're only as good as your people, and you take care of those people, and it comes back to you. And it's just there's not a lot, to it other than just really the golden rule: taking care of people, do good dentistry, even if it's onesies and twosies, and you're not getting these roundies and stuff. Those cases will come, and
they will come.
And never really do it for the money. Money will come. I've never looked at money, until recently. I'm like, God, I got money. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
At the beginning, you don't want to go, I got to do this and that to make the money. No, the money will come. And I think it's in anything in life, as you get, in your 40s and you get to your 50s, it starts to add up, and
it does.
I just see these kids even starting off with getting their first homes, and it's so hard, but it was so hard for us when we got our first home, and there's 200 grand. My mom they got them for like 80 grand, 10 years before that. Now they're up to 500 grand. It's like ridiculous, but it's all, but hey, you're making $50 an hour or $70 an hour. It's just, I don't know. It's just, and it's hard for people, to really stay up in the time. So it's just be good to people and do the good deed, and good things will happen. And Dr. Medwick, man, I can't thank you enough for your story, and what a great thing. Thank you for all the work. How are we doing as a lab? We doing pretty good work, or are we okay?
Y'all are doing excellent work. No, I appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. You've been my go-to lab for so long. So I started using you back in Special Forces, so it's been 2012, 13. That's when I started using you guys. So it's been a while, about 4 or 5 years now. And y'all been awesome. And I appreciate the hard work. And, when I've had issues, you fixed them and you've been on top of it. And I can't say enough good things about you guys.
Oh, dude, I love you, man. Especially that you got a wife that's a colonel. That's freaking awesome. Delta Force. Yeah. I want a beanie or whatever those things, one of those little hats. No, you're not supposed to wear those unless you earn it. You got to earn it, Sean.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, anything you need ever, man. It's great talking to you, and feel free, whatever you need. And let me know on those patients when you have those here and there. Just reach out to me, man, because it's just it's always good to give, man. And I can't thank you enough, Dr. Medwick. Bless you. God bless you and your family. And
thank you. You too.
If there's anything we can do, let us know.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right, doctor. We'll talk to you real soon. Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us on the Dental Up podcast show this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or search Dental Up Podcast on iTunes and get our weekly feed. Don't forget to visit KeatingDentalArts.com/promo for exclusive offers. Keating Dental Arts is a full-service dental laboratory, and we're nationwide. We would love for you to send us a case so we could show you the Keating difference. If you dig what you've heard, please leave us a review on iTunes, and we'll be back next week.